top of the morning to you. Welcome to 360 Sports on Trust Television, where we talk about, the World Cup and other sports that are ongoing right now. Not just the World Cup, but, other sports are making headways, but it seems that the World Cup seems to be the one making all of the noises now. But we love the feeling, and I know that you love the feeling too. Welcome. My name is Martia Umar, and I will be here with you this morning on 360 Sports. I will take a look at some of the events that occurred in the world of sport in the last hours, and of course, projections for today. So without further ado, let's get into the conversation for today. Well, we'll be looking at, the first agenda for today. That will be the CAF Confederation Cup, as of course, we're not throwing it away because of the World Cup. Preparations are on the way. So our Rivers United, I'm saying our own Rivers United now because it's one of the teams in the Nigerian Professional Football League. They are to know their CAF Confederation Cup foes December 12th, I beg your pardon. And Rivers United will know their group opponents in CAF. This draw was supposed to take place on the 16th of November, but it didn't take place. But right now there's a new date to it, and the draw was initially fixed, but it didn't happen due to one hitches or the other. But now it has a due date, and the Rivers United will have a lot of people to contend with. As it stands so far, teams have qualified for the group stage of the competition, and we see teams like, of course, Rivers United, ASCO Dakar in Togo. We see DC Mazembe, and the rest of them, will have all of these people playing their trades in the group stage. We also have Al Akdar from Libya will be in that group stage as well. We have TB Mazembe, of course, they are named to record with. We also have the Asfar Club in Morocco, FC Saint Eloi Lupopo, that is in the Democratic Republic of Congo. We also have the Maruma Gallants and also the Young Africans, which of course is from Tanzania. Don't forget the Maruma Gallants are from South Africa, and then Asak Mimosas, which are from Cote d'Ivoire, then USM Algiers from Algeria. So with me this morning, I'm not alone riding this boat. I have Oladile Peters. Good morning to you.
Good morning, my dear. It's my pleasure being here.
Yes, I said Oladile, it's Olawale. So good to have you. So the CAF Confederation Cup was supposed to be, there was supposed to be a draw. It was slated for November 16, but due to one hitches or the other, there was nothing. So it has a new date now, which is December 12th. We have Rivers United, who is playing at threat, and we also have other teams, of course, who have qualified for the group stage. Do you think we're going to go far in this competition, judging from the fact that we have all of the big names in the CAF Confederation Cup, people that have been in the game long enough before Rivers United? Okay,
and if you look at what is going on at the World Cup currently now, it's not about how long you've been playing the football, it's how well you prepare yourself and you get ready for the competition. And I think the Rivers United, they have what it takes to go further. And what do I say so? They are getting their motivation currently now right from the Rivers State government. After they won the Nigerian Professional Football League, we saw the amount of dollars it paid to them, even sent them outside the country to go for a training. So he really prepared them, and they are also prepared for this competition. And one good thing about football is motivation. Take it to Davis. Whatever you do, once you are motivated, once people appreciate what you are really doing, you will go far. So I see Rivers United representing Nigeria very, very well, and they are going further. I'm not saying they will win the trophy.
Why you're not saying they are winning the trophies? Because if they have all of the support, I think they should be able to do something, probably to the quarterfinals. Or
probably quarterfinal or semi-final. If they win the trophy, that's good, because it's not also good to put too much pressure on them as they go into the competition right now. But let's just give them, okay, you have a target, quarterfinal, just like what the Rivers State government has already done. If you qualify from the group stages, this is the amount of money I'm paying you. If you get to the quarterfinal, this is what I'm paying you. If you get to semi-final, this is the amount I'm paying you. So they have something they are fighting for, apart from the honor of representing the country. They still have something that they will be happy about at the end of the day is coming to them. So I see them going very, very far.
Okay, now coming to the home front now, we saw that in the Nigerian Professional Football League. It's a game that, a lot of people, diversified teams come into play. And you hardly see a team winning that competition like consecutively, let's say 3 times or 4 times consecutively in, seasons. So that means that there's competition in the game. And this Confederation Cup is all about winners. It's all about big clubs coming together to show who is more powerful, or to show power or the powerhouse of the continent in general. So now that, you know, we have Rivers United, you know, Rivers United used to be the underdog in the MPFL, and then they're here. So do you think that with all of the players that we have, the teams that we have, our MPFL is not competitive enough?
Well, the honest truth is yes, the MPF, they're not competitive enough, and that's just the truth. And for the last Nigerian team that won either CAF or Champions League was Enyimba of Aba, and they won it because of the passion that His Excellency Ojus Okalu had for football and the amount of money he spent on them. That was why they are able to win it. Take it or leave it. You can't take motivation out of it. And from what Sunday Dare said during his interview about 2 weeks ago, that I've said repeatedly, in football, if you don't invest, investment is very key. Are we investing in our Nigerian Professional Football League? The answer is capital no. Infrastructure, do we have the infrastructure compared to the North African teams? We don't have it. Then incentive. These three heights are very important in football. Investment, infrastructure, and incentive. If you don't have investor who comes in to come and spend their home money to invest in the club, what do we mean? It is high time, we've been saying it, that the state government, they should release some of their holding they are having on the league we have in the country. Currently, right now, it's all about politics 2023. A governor that is contesting for an election, a governor that has a lot to do, we should not, he should not overburden himself because of political gain to still be managing sport. We should separate it. Allow people to come in and invest. Once we have investors, they will now try to have a roadmap of how they want it to be. Then number two is infrastructure. If you go to the stadiums we have in this country, sincerely, my secondary school stadium, when I was in secondary school, those days, is far better than some of the stadium that our domestic football leagues have been played. So we don't have that infrastructure, and you can't have the infrastructure if you don't have the investment. They talk about the incentive for the players, for the coaches, for the referees. Some of them, they travel by road from Lagos to Maiduguri to Kano to Katsina to play football. Some of them are being hold a lot amount of salary. We've seen a lot of them that they are going on strike, that they're not going to play again. So if we don't put that in place in this country, we'll continue to be the underdog. And the reason why Rivers United are doing what they are doing is because of the dollar splash that they are getting from. If you have other state government that they are doing this, but you can't put everything on the state government alone.
Exactly.
But because they are doing it because of their own political gain. So as far as I'm concerned, I think we can do it, we can get it right. But what we need to do, the state government, probably the federal government, through the Ministry of Youth and Sport, should come with a policy to reduce the holding of state government in our domestic league. Maybe by then, me and you, we can invest in either Kano Pillars, Katsina United, or Bayelsa United.
Exactly. When we bring all of the money and the innovations, as well as support for this team, we might just start seeing a light at the end of the tunnel for the Nigerian Professional Football League. But away from that, let's take a look at the World Cup. I think it's getting hotter and the games are getting tougher. We see a lot of goal rains yesterday. And let's start from one of the last games, actually, and the World Cup that was played yesterday was between Serbia and Brazil. But Richarlison's double ends a dominant Brazil 2-0 win against Serbia yesterday. And that was a game that everybody was looking forward to. You know, aside the game between Ghana and Portugal, which of course ended 3-2 in favor of Brazil. Let's take a look at the Portugal and Ghana game. A lot of people went into that game with a lot of sentiment. It wasn't about who knows how to play the better football. And then the Qatar factor, the Saudi Arabia and the Argentina factor, which a lot of people had in their minds, played into that game. And I would say that a lot of people went home disappointed yesterday after the play. What would you say about the game yesterday?
Okay, I think what happens to Ghana yesterday, it's not a good one. Well, why do I say so? They have what it takes to at least get a draw from that match. That is the truth. But it's a first match. There's a lot of pressure on them. And like what you rightly said, most of the underdog teams, they now have the confidence that if the likes of Saudi Arabia can do this against Argentina, if Japan can do this against Germany, so that shows we too, we can do it. So the so-called favorites to win the World Cup, they are under tremendous pressure right now. That means it's not going to be business as usual like what they had in mind. So I think the Ghanaian team, they tried sincerely and they made us proud as Africa. But like I do normally say, what's the purpose of you have a child that has a good handwriting and failing an exam? You can't be playing good football, but at the end of the day, you are still not, meeting the target or the goal. The target or the goal is for you to get 3 points, or worst case scenario, to have a point. That game, they have what it takes to win the match. And if you see all their players yesterday, the Ghanaian player, they play with dedication, they play with commitment. But one thing about experience is if you don't have it, you can't get it. The Portuguese team, they're able to win the match based on their own experience. So I think the Ghanaian team also, they still have a lot to do in their next 2 remaining matches.
So getting into the Serbia-Brazil match, did you think the same thing was going to happen? Maybe Serbia was going to score a goal, or it was going to be unreplied goals. What was on your mind?
Okay, and the first 20 minutes, I was like, we're going to have another shocker today again. Okay. But the Brazilian doing what they know how to do best, and they came out of it. And one thing about them is the coordination. I saw in the Brazilian team yesterday, sincerely, I was very impressed with them. They're not my favorite. Argentina is my favorite. But from what I saw the Brazilian doing yesterday, I think we can be in for another surprises. What do I mean? The Richarlison that scored yesterday is like they have a pro max of Richarlison that is playing for Tottenham, because it's the way he played yesterday is totally different. Even Fred, when he came in also, Casemiro, when he played yesterday also, it's like their commitment when they are playing for their national team is totally different from when they are playing for their respective clubs, because it's like it's a pride from over how many millions of people in Brazil, and their major trait, we all know, is when it comes to football, you can't take it away from Brazilian. That's why they've won it 5 good times. If you look at their jersey, they have the 5 stars there, representing each time they won the World Cup. So I think they did very well. The Serbian team also, they gave it to them. I think the first 20 minutes, they held Brazilian seriously, but they got it. When you have the likes of Messi, you have the likes of Vinicius Junior, you have the likes of Casemiro, you have a lot to do, and their counter-attack yesterday was very, very, very effective. So I think it's a very, very good one, but it's still not over until it's over. They only played 1 match. They still have more matches to play. Exactly.
Talking about matches, and after every match of the day, matches were being played, always controversy. And one of the biggest controversy was the fact that, Cristiano Ronaldo scored a decisive penalty that opened way for the rest 2 goals that came in. And some have been reacting to that penalty as a result of the video assistant, VAR. Agawa was one person, Julius Agawa, Nigerian former Super Eagles, was one of the persons that reacted to that VAR, that it acted against Ghana, and it wasn't, a consistent one. It wasn't supposed to be what it was yesterday. He made that statement. So what would you say to that statement? Was it, a foul? Was it something that shouldn't be considered at all? Knowing that VAR caused a lot of trouble at the end of every match, it's causing reactions.
The issue of the controversy surrounding the VAR, sincerely, I asked myself at times that why did they even introduce the VAR? Because they are there to checkmate human error. But now we've seen that the error that the technology is even committing is even worse than the error that if you look at it from here now, there's no how you can tell me this is a penalty. This is not a penalty at all. Look at his 2 legs. Look at the first leg, look at the second leg, and look at where Ronaldo's leg is. So it's not a situation maybe probably he tackled Ronaldo or he fell. No, not at all. It is not a penalty. Take it or leave it. But we don't know. Maybe the VAR, they are seeing something that we are not seeing spiritually. Let me put it that way. Maybe that's why they gave it a penalty. But to me, it is not a penalty at all. But it is what it is. It's a penalty. They scored the goal. They had the 3 points. The Ghana should just forget about it.
Okay, I think moving forward now, we'll just have to have more African team. Talking about African team playing, we have fixtures for today for the World Cup. We have the likes of Senegal playing today, and we're wishing them all the best. Let's look at the matches that will be going down today. Some will be played in a few minutes. Wales will be facing Iran at 11 a.m. Qatar will be facing Senegal of Africa, 2 p.m. Netherlands versus Ecuador at 5 p.m. And the last match for today will be England versus USA, which will be at 8 p.m. What's your projection for this
Okay,
match?
and Wales and Iran, it's a match for Iran to try and get a draw or to surprise also by winning. What do I mean? If they should lose to this match, that means they should be packing their bags to go home. So they'll be the first country to be out of Qatar because they lost their first match against England 6-2. So they should lose to this match again against Wales. So that means they're having 0 points from 2 matches. So that means they have no hope again at all. Then Wales also, they know their next match is going to be against England. It is more like a derby. So, and they don't know
English derby.
the English derby, so they don't know what will happen. So they want to put all their effort in winnings to this match to know that the next match against England will be to fight for either the first spot or the second spot.
Okay.
But they've qualified for the round of 16. That's what I think is going to happen. Then from Qatar and then Senegal, Qatar, they are the host country.
Exactly.
They lost their first match against Ecuador. Then the Senegalese also they lost their first match. So it's like a game of 2 losers that wants to remain in the competition. The Senegalese, they have what it takes to win the match. That if you watch their first match, they are not just clinical in front of goals. And I think they will have worked on that before their game against Qatar. Qatar shouldn't give them any trouble, sincerely. I should see it as an easy ride, apart from the support. You know, when you are playing against the host nation that bought 37% of the about 3 million tickets sold during this World Cup. You know what that means? When you have a stadium of about 50,000 capacity and the home support is over 40,000, if you don't have that confidence to play, sincerely, you'll be disturbed. So I think the Senegalese, they are professionals. They've done this before. They have what it takes. So I'll give it to our African.
Okay, I guess this is the time where the permutations start rolling in. I think the first one was just like a walkover for most teams. Countries now will start with the permutation, and it's really head-cracking where you have to go into these permutations to know if your team will qualify for the next round of the competition. But away from that, we also have the Women Champions League ongoing. We saw the likes of the Aziza Toshuala's team, I'm talking about the Barcelona, were in action yesterday, and we saw that it was a win-win for Barcelona because it was 3-0 against Bayern. We also have the Zurich women facing Lyon. It was 3-0 at the end of the match, and then Barcelona and Bayern Munich was okay. I think there seems to be some kind of mixed up there, but Benfica and Rosengard, it was 1-0 at the end of the match. But those like of the fixture, were you expecting FC Barcelona to actually win that match yesterday?
Yeah, definitely. And because if you look at the trend, if you look at what their female teams are doing, they are doing very well currently right now. And they are not taking any motivation from the men from what they are really doing. So I'm not surprised that they are winning their match, and I'm not going to be surprised if they can win the Champions League also. So I think it's a very good one for them.
It was Juventus and Arsenal that played 1-1 yesterday. So I think there seems to be a mix-up somewhere. Juventus played 1-1. Were you expecting that result?
Yeah, anyway, in football, anything can happen. You can go with a prediction. I'm sure a lot of people got it wrong when Argentina and Saudi Arabia played their match. Everybody got it wrong, sincerely. If anybody should predict that Saudi will beat Argentina, then we have to really search that person, that what are you saying that we are not saying. So that's the game of football right now. Bayern Munich and Arsenal, anything can happen. But if you go to the record, if you look at the head-to-head between both teams, you see that the Arsenal female team, they are still doing very well, better than the Bayern Munich, and playing away from home and getting a draw. I don't think it's a bad one for the Arsenal team too.
So of course, Lyon and Zurich, a lot of people anticipated that Lyon was going to pick all points. But it happened that way. It was 3-0 at the end of the match. Then Benfica and Rosengard, I thought it was going to be a tricky one yesterday, though every winning clock was tilting to Benfica.
Yeah.
But it was 1-0. That was a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but the end justified the needs. What I need is 3 points. Either it is a goal or half goal. So if I get my 3 points, I'm home and dry. So I think they're okay with it. But they should be ready to see what happens to them when they are going to play the away match against the Reserve Guard also. So I think it's a good one. It's not that bad for them.
And a lot of people are still happy that Chelsea women are top in the league. I'm sure you're very impressed that Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm sure their supporters will be very happy also.
Yes, exactly.
What men cannot do, women are doing it far better. So I think it's a very good one for them. But it's still not over until it's over.
I don't think Chelsea men are doing so bad. You just can't win all the time. That's
yes,
what it is.
It's about the way you are losing. It's about the way you are losing.
Exactly.
You can't be winning all the time. But there are some things that you can't just explain how it's happening to you. That's the truth. So the Chelsea team, I think they are going through what the likes of Arsenal and Manchester United have gone through. I've said this before and I'll say it again. This season, they should forget about Champions League. That's the truth. They are now in the rebuilding process that can take them additional 1 or 2 years before they can get it right again.
All right. So we'll go for this quick break, and when we come back, the questions and answers segment, of course, on 360 Sports will be on your screen. You got to get prepared for what's to come. Stay with us.
That's great.
Welcome back. I hope you're ready for what's about to happen on the 360 Sports Special, and that's because of the World Cup, of course. We will be asking questions, and we will be rewarding the people or the person with the correct answer this morning. So the number will be displayed on the screen, and I will just get the number to you right now. If you have a pen, you can just put it down. The number is 8080 75992766. I'll take it again. If you're calling outside Nigeria, of course, you have to put the +235. But if you are in Nigeria, you just dial from your phone 080 759927 then 66. So just call the number right now, and let's see if you can answer 1 or 2 questions before the end of the program. We have limited time. So if you come in, the rules of the game is that you will answer the question in the first 5 seconds. If you're not able to answer the question, then we have to take another call that will be answering this question, so we can reward the person at the end of the day. So if you are ready, of course, we are ready in the studio. We'll just get the questions across to you, and then you answer. The questions are pretty much simple. I'm pretty much a part of the questions committee that actually came up with this question, and yeah. I feel I could just answer the question, but the rules of the game, I cannot answer any question.
Probably you can answer the question because you've seen the question.
Okay, I could pretend not to see this question. I could just close my eyes and answer 1 or 2. Just give myself a try. I'll see.
Okay, maybe the next one you'll be on the other side, so you can answer the question.
Okay, that works perfectly for me. But the rule is that nobody in the house gets to answer the question.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so let's see. But yesterday, a lot of people are saying that yesterday's play was the best in the World Cup, since it started, because of the adrenaline rush and the goals that we saw. Though we've seen goals, we've seen a lot of goals, But yesterday it was really, really tough because a lot of people were anticipating, maybe because of one African country that has really pulled out so much crowd and so much goal since the start of the World Cup.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason why we're happy, and we're happy to see the Ghanaian team scoring 2 goals yesterday. And a lot of people are also anticipating to see what the Brazilian teams are going to do. That's the truth. A lot of people are really waiting to see the magic they're going to bring on board yesterday, and we saw the magic. And if you look at the stadium yesterday when the Brazilians are playing, it's like they are playing at home, because everywhere is more like everywhere is like yellow. Like 75% of the spectators there, probably the Qatarians also are supporting them, I don't know. But if you look at their fan base yesterday, it's kind of very, 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 very massive. So let's see what happens today, let's see what happens tomorrow. It's still going to be a very long day before the competition comes to an end.
Senegal, getting into the competition, a lot of Nigerians were rooting for Senegal. Lots of Africans, actually, I would say, are rooting for Senegal to be, up there when it comes to tackling all of these other continents. But, sentiments will always dip in, but at the end of the day, in football, the best team always wins.
Yeah, definitely. And the reason why people are putting much hope on the Senegalese team is because they are currently the African champion. That's the truth. Then the Sadio Mane effect also, it's there also. But for him not to play, also it's like bringing them down. So and they miss it totally. Because if you look at their first match, they had 4 shots on target, and they couldn't convert any to go. While their opponents had 3 and they scored 2. So that shows that if you had the likes of Sadio Mane playing that their first match, take it or leave it, from the 4 goals, you're going to see 1 or 2 of them. Making it to the net. So they really do. But what the Ghanaians played yesterday also, I'm sure those that are rooting for Senegalese team also, they'll be looking at, even these Ghanaian boys also, they did very, very well. If they can do this against Portuguese team that they gave Nigeria woto, because they beat us they gave us rainbow color when we play against them, and seeing what the Ghanaian team did. In fact, yesterday I said it, we do not deserve to be at the World Cup. After seeing what the Ghanaian team played, they deserve to be there. We don't deserve to be there. So that's just the basic truth. So let's see what's going to happen today again.
So Nigerians will have to do better if they need to get a spot in the World Cup, the upcoming World Cup, which will be in like 4 years' time. That's a long time. A lot of people would have retired then. I mean, the players. The
players, yes, definitely. And that's why you have to start the rebuilding process right now. You have to look at the players that are within the age bracket of, let me say, 20 to 24 or 25 years old, because in the next 4 years, they'll be like 29 years. And don't forget the African factor. Some people say it's age issue. Like you say you are 20, you are 30 years old. So we have to start catching them young. Look at the Brazilian teams. Look at the Spanish team.
Yes, the youngest player.
They are the youngest so far. So that means in the next 4 and 8 years, you continue to see these same players. Look at Cristiano Ronaldo.
He started early.
He started early. He scored yesterday, and it's going to be his 5th consecutive World Cup appearance. In 2006, he has been coming to the World Cup. Let's look at his mates in Nigeria that they played together in 2006. Where are they currently now?
All right, thank you very much. We have to get up, but thank you so much for your analysis. And of course, we'll have these questions put aside. Anytime you see him on the screen, you just better dial the number as soon as you can. So thank you very much for being a part of 360 Sports. We'll come back again, same time, same station. Tomorrow morning, but don't forget, you join us live at 5:30 for continuation. Then we'll be looking at the live matches and the scores. It will be interesting, I promise you. My name is Martia Umar. I'll see you again.